Hey there, good afternoon. It's Brenda Meller with Meller Marketing. You're here to join us for another edition of Social Media Pie. I am so excited, guys. Look who I have with me today. Mavita, how are you?
I am wonderful, wonderful. I am at home and navigating being at home.
Yes, it's fun. I hear
Yeah,
some voices in the background. So
yes, you do.
yeah, so we might have maybe a celebrity appearance with us today, right?
You may get a celebrity appearance.
That's awesome.
Yes, yes.
Well, so before we get started with our discussion with Mavita here today, I just want to kind of remind those of you, if you're watching us, whether you're watching us live on LinkedIn, live on Facebook, I want to invite you guys, leave us a comment below. Say hi, good
Yes.
afternoon. Let us know how your day is going, where you're joining us from. Mavita and I are both in Michigan. And Mavita, how's the weather by you? I've got like sunshine, blue sky outside. How about you?
It is beautiful outside. I did take some time and go out and soak in some of the sun and let the youngin play and let the dogs run around, but I couldn't ask for a better day. I
Yeah.
was like, this is so beautiful out
It's beautiful. It's like one of those picture perfect days. And I went outside
here.
with our little swing out in the back, and I just laid on the swing and just had the sun on me. And I was like,
Yep.
what time I got to go live with Mavita? What do I do? What's happening? But I mean, you need to like take
It's a
care
great
of yourself.
escape.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like you need
yeah,
to take care of yourself, and you need to take full advantage of the weather when
yeah,
you have good weather.
yeah.
And we are in interesting times right now, Mavita. And I think when we originally scheduled this talk, we were in the normal days of life, and now we're in
Yes,
a much different place. But
yes.
still a very relevant discussion. So before we get started with the discussion, I just want to take a moment and say hi to a few folks that are watching us.
Hi.
And we've got Sherry Watkins, who's watching us right now on LinkedIn.
Hey, Sherry.
Sherry, thanks so much for joining. She says, two of my favorite people. Well, you're one of our favorite people, Sherry.
Right, right.
And then I'm going to remind you guys, too, if you're watching on LinkedIn, if you leave a comment, what I have to do is I actually have to look down at my phone. So every now and again, I'll poke down at my phone just to see who's leaving comments there. But the other thing, and Mavita, you did this the other day. If you go on facebook.com/Meller Marketing, and if you go on that page, find the live video, you can actually leave a comment, and I can pop your comment up on screen. So if you guys know Mavita, you can go and leave her a comment there, and we'll pop it up on screen. And then as we're having a conversation here today, I kind of called this series Social Media Pie, because I love pie, right? But
Yes.
it's really all about, I choose, it's kind of an acronym. So this P stands for people, because I choose inspiring people like Mavita to come out and inform and educate you, and that spells the I and the E. And when I asked Mavita to come out, we actually had a talk related to this very same topic, the humanity of philanthropy, which Mavita gave to a group over at in Forum in Troy. And I want to say, was it earlier this year or was it last year? Now I'm forgetting. Was it December?
It was in December. It was
Okay.
in December.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because we
yeah.
tied right around, the season of giving, in December around the holiday season. And I said, hey, this would make for a really good live discussion as well. And we can extend this message.
Especially now, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So I mean, and let's talk about this a little bit. And maybe before we get into this discussion, on the humanity of philanthropy, Mavita, why don't you just take a moment and if you could describe for us a little bit about your background, why is this such an important topic to you? Tell us a little bit about what you do for your day job, and then we'll jump into the discussion.
Well, great. So, my passion, as you know, is people. I'm a social butterfly, so of course, COVID is killing my vibe right now.
Yeah.
But my thing is helping other people and looking for ways to collaborate and connect people. And I've been doing that since childhood. Like, how do I get friends together? How do I make sure this person is okay? How do I do this? How do I do that? And being a person who really, really looks for ways to connect people, not for my personal gain, but just so that we all get a benefit, has been my thing for forever. So I dived into the life of philanthropy, or as most people say, fund development. I jumped into fund development through Walsh College.
Okay.
And found out, hey, this is my thing. This is the thing I love to do. First, talking to people, and secondly, getting money. So I was like, oh, I love the mix of the two, but actually connecting with people and learning more about what motivates them to give.
Right. Because it's not just the money. It's like, I mean, we're giving to a cause. We're giving to something we're passionate about, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not really about the money, but it is connecting that money to a mission.
Right.
So with philanthropy, you have a mission. So I fell into that and I fell in love with that. I left Walsh. I went to Mosaic because, of course, I love women and children in a good sense. You know, I love helping and how can we get the kids motivated and how can we do these things. And then I moved over to Haven and found my groove. So this is where I'm at right now, and I am loving the way that we are able to support people who really are being victimized and who don't have an out but have a will to do better. And you know, being a part of Haven has been just a blessing for me, especially in this time, because I get to see that mission in action, and I'm really, really loving that. But you know, being a fund developer is difficult these days, but it is. I am motivated by the things that I see people do for us every single day.
So let me interrupt you if I could, Mavita, because there might be some people that are watching this, and you and I are both in southeastern Michigan, you know, the Metro Detroit area, and I'm very familiar with Haven. There may be people who aren't familiar. They've never heard of the name Haven, and they might be watching this in playback later on today, and you know, in Wisconsin or Florida or India or you know, Turkey. I mean, there's different places from different folks from around the world watching. So could you give us a description of what Haven is, who you serve, and the communities and folks that are benefiting from those services?
Yes. So Haven is Oakland County's oldest nonprofit shelter for domestic violence and sexual assault. So one of the things that we are passionate about doing is actually eradicating domestic violence, or what we call intimate partner violence and sexual assault. So how do we prevent it? How do we educate people? How do we bring more awareness? We can house up to about 60 people. So sometimes that looks like 20 women and you know 40 kids.
These are families. These are, you know, not just single women, right?
It's not just what men or women. There are families that come to us, and we're also able to provide on-site forensic exams for those who may have been assaulted and want to report that. We do PPO services. We do counseling services. We do feeding. We do back to school. We have a acre of garden, so you can go out and do gardening and work on work through that therapeutically. So we have been in existence for 45 years. And we have been serving Oakland County and all surrounding counties. So our thing is, if you can get there, we can serve you. And sometimes even if you can't, if you let you know, the officer or the ambulance know that you want to come to Haven, they will bring you to us. So you can be in Flint, you can be in Saginaw, you can be in Grand Rapids, and they will bring you to Haven.
Really? So it's not just Oakland County residents then? It's And the facility that you guys are in, how long have you been in that building? How long have you been in that location?
We have been in that building since 2016. One of our major goals, or one of the major goals of the former CEO, Beth Morrison, was to have all services in one place. When you are a victim of assault or a victim of domestic violence, one of the barriers is transportation. One of the barriers is when you are in a state where you're fleeing, you take nothing. You take the clothes on your back. And we have all of those services in-house. So you go downstairs, you can get your birth certificate, your driver's license, you can get Social Security cards, you get your kids enrolled in school. Everything is now in one building. Before we were in Bingham Farms, in Southfield, in Pontiac, like we were dispersed, and now we're all together. And we have a pet center as well. So if you have a pet and you need to leave, you are welcome to bring your pet. We have 5 kennels for the dogs, and we have a cat condo.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And I just got a brief, I popped in to drop off actually some Girl Scout cookies to you not too long ago. Unfortunately, you weren't there that day, so I wasn't able to get a tour, but I'm hoping once the world opens up again, you know, I would love to come and learn more and check out the facility too. So so we're in some interesting times, and I really feel for what you're doing for a cause, and it's such an important cause, and it doesn't take a pause what you're doing. I mean, there's still people that are in need. And I've even been reading, Mavita, and one of the articles may have been circulated by you. I mean, there's been a rise. There could be, I guess, potentially a rise in domestic abuse situations right now, because, you know, whereas some people during the day before could at least escape that, and then come home. And now we're being kept away from family and friends because we have to. So, I mean, there's definitely, unfortunately, there's a continued need for the work that you guys are doing. So I really commend, you know.
Yeah, one of the things that we are seeing, not so much an uptick in intakes, but calls. And it's hard to call when you're at home with an abuser or a perpetrator. It's very hard to call. But we get those calls of how do I do this until I'm able to leave. So we provide resources and tips and tools. And most people who are going through this situation know those triggers. So they know how to avoid the triggers. They know what not to do and how to keep the kids quiet and it's unfortunate that you have to live in a situation where there's power and control, but it's also a blessing that you are able to have Haven and people at Haven who can walk you through that and help you until you're able to get out, flee, and get to a safer place. And then, you know, when we think about, you know, our freedom, we're complaining about being stuck in our homes, and that people are stuck in their homes with people who are not kind. And it's hard sometimes to really, really express how our survivors feel once they're able to get out. And then on top of that, now, Brenda, we have COVID.
Yes.
So, you know, just imagine,
it's just layering upon layering in terms of the challenges and you know, so I definitely, you know, I have an appreciation for the work that you're doing, and you're just, I mean, you're always been in, I've known Mavita for years, guys. I mean, so I gotta tell you, can I tell the quick backstory about how we first met? So Mavita was a student at Walsh College when I was working in the marketing department, and back in the day, what's that?
I said, you were awesome.
I still am awesome. I didn't
still are awesome, but you know, as a doe-eyed young student.
There you go. So Mavita was a graduating bachelor degree student, and she put her name in the hat to audition to be a student commencement speaker. And she came out and she auditioned, and I think we were all like, there's a committee of us who kind of chose, and we did like a first round, second round. I think we saw Mavita and we're like, oh my gosh, we have to book her. She's awesome. And I'm gonna actually drop in the comments later, the YouTube video playback of Mavita on stage. It was such a powerful message. I still get chills thinking about it. But after she graduated, I think not too long after that, you came to work at Walsh, and then we became co-workers. And I have so many fond memories of working with Mavita. She's so passionate. She's such a great team player. One of my favorites, Mavita, is when we moved into the new building and it was snowing. And I called you on the phone and I said, do you want to build a snowman? And I said, meet me on the deck in 5 minutes. And we went out on the deck, and there's a little patio outside. We made a little mini snowman on the I mean, like, that's one of my fondest memories. How many people can you call where you can, like, literally at work, I was like, do you want to go make a snowman real quick? And she's like, yeah, she didn't even question. She's like, yeah, where do you want to meet at? Like, she wasn't like, no, I've got work there. She's like, no, totally, I'm on. Where are we going?
Where do we go? And we went out and we made our snowman and came back in and had a blast. You know, I think my greatest thing for you, Brenda, and even my time, you know, at Walsh, was just having a sense of family. And I would be on the edge about some things because I am passionate. I am a very fiery type of person. And I would go over to Brenda and I'd be like, oh my God. And I'd go through my spiel and she'd sit there and she'd go, okay.
I listen.
Calm down, crazy. Right. Calm down, crazy.
I'll be like, are you done?
We go.
Are you done? Okay, let's sit down. Let's talk about this, you know? Yeah.
And then I go, oh, okay, yeah, I overreacted. Let me go sit down.
Yeah. No, it's
I like that you were the yin to my yang.
Yeah. No, I think it's a really important, and you know, we were so lucky and blessed to have the opportunity to work together. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like some people just don't have that work family environment, and I was really lucky to work with you. So, and we continue to talk, you know, I feel like I see you all the time. Sometimes we'll just randomly text each other or post on Facebook. Maybe they'll jump on my live sometimes and leave comments and stuff. And so we're having a blast, but
and I think one of the things too, in your life, you find people who you just connect with, and you just it just happens, and they become part of your life forever.
Yeah.
And you're like my forever friend.
Aw, likewise. I feel the exact same way. So let's get into this discussion, Mavita. And before we do that, I'm going to pop back onto LinkedIn because I saw a couple more comments coming in, and I want to give a couple more shout outs in here. So we have DL Miller joining us from Lebanon, Missouri. Hope you're doing well out there, DL. And
Hi, DL.
we have Sweta joining us from Canada. She says she loves my hairband. Do you like this? This is like from, what's that store called? Claire's at the mall where you walk in and they say those awful words. It's buy 3, get 3 free today. I'm like, oh my gosh. My daughter's like, so I'm like, I picked this out. It's just fun when it's it's a fun spring day kind of thing. So let's get into this discussion, humanity of philanthropy. And I think I've got some slides from you, Mavita. Do you want me to put those up on screen now?
Yes.
So we're going to add that on in here.
So, one of the things, Brenda, for me is always, how do I help? And I always think of Mr. Rogers and like, look for the helpers and look for people who help. And that's the beauty of, us being connected as humans, is the simple fact that we're able to connect and have a passion around a mission. Yeah. And I'm super excited about, being a human in this time. The time of COVID, I keep saying, I keep telling people, cooking in the time of COVID and love in the time of COVID. Yes,
we are going to look back. We're going to remember.
I'm going to completely knock off on that. Yeah. But, I'm thinking of humanity in this time and how we're able to, although we're social distancing, how are we able to connect? And, you having these lives, yay, it's a good way for us to connect with one another, for us to get, face to face. And, we get Zoom overload and we get all of these other overloads, but human touch, human connectivity is what drives us to do more for one another. And you care about people, correct? When you see people, when you know those people, when you can say, my neighbor across the street, I know she's elderly, let me run and go get her some groceries, or let me see what she needs. Or my neighbor down the street, he knows I hate yard work, so he'll come by and blow my leaves in a pile at least. That's humanity. I mean, that's exactly what we look for in one another, right? So when we talk about the humanity of philanthropy, we talk about how people really, reach out to one another and how we show ourselves as loving people to one another. And for me, when we talk about the love languages and things like that, him blowing my leaves in a pile is a love language he would never understand, because that's not something that I love to do. And not wanting anything in return. He didn't ask for his name to be up on a donor wall. He didn't ask that I go door to door and let everybody know how great he is. He just did it because he has a passion and love for his neighbors, right? And he probably got sick of looking at my piles of leaves.
Find joy, because I have some of these neighbors too. When they're leaf blowing, I'm like, seriously, they go for like an hour and a half. I'm like,
but they're helping other people.
Or what? What is it?
Come down, sweetheart. So, so one of the things that we do, no ma'am. So one of the
you're going to have to pull her into the camera at some point, Mavita.
That's our celebrity. Her name is Amaya, and she actually runs the house. I just go to work and make the money.
You're her personal assistant, right?
Yes. And now she's talking about she's pouring juice. So we'll see what that is after the live. But one of the things that, when we think about philanthropy, people think about, oh, you're helping a charity, or, I got to do this for charity. And so many organizations call themselves charity because that's what the IRS tells us we have to do. But one of the things you want to think about is that philanthropy isn't the same as charity. Yeah. Charity is, I'm trying to eliminate the suffering right now. Philanthropy means we're trying to eradicate, we're trying to prevent, we're trying to keep these social issues from happening. So even in my own line of work, we're trying to make sure that students have scholarships and that they don't have student debt. We're trying to make sure that young people get an opportunity to showcase their talents and get up on that big screen or that big stage, or even become doctors, lawyers, and, surgeons, if that's what they choose to do. And even right now, we're trying to make sure that one person does not become abused. One child, one woman, one man. We don't want anyone to have to suffer through these ills. So when we talk about charity, charity is to alleviate the suffering right now. But philanthropy means that we are trying to eradicate the issue because I love you enough to make sure it never happens to you again. And that's the difference. Because most people say, well, I give to charity, but are you philanthropic? Are you doing it only because you want your donor name up, or are you doing it because you want this thing to stop? And that's how you have to look at the difference. And we can go to the next one.
Very cool. I had never thought about that at all. I'm driving. Let me know if you want me to go to the next slide too. As we're going here.
And I'm drinking. Yeah. So we can go to the next. We can go to the next one. And guys, my cup says every day I'm guzzling. So I don't know if you can see it.
Hold it up. I want to see it. Can you hold it up? Does it really say that?
There we go.
I can show you my. Yeah. I'm trying to go in and out of screens here. Well, hold on. We're going to take a commercial break here, guys, because I want to show you my cup too. So it's actually water, but mine says fast at the ballpark. So, same thing here. I don't know what this says on the side of it. We went to, I think it was like a beer fest or something. My husband, it's just, mine's water too. It's clear, but yeah. All right. And we're back.
And we're back. So one of the things is that when we look at the nature of philanthropy, last year, 2018, America, the nation, United States, we gave over $417 billion in gifts, just, sharing with one another, and being able to give to organizations and, individuals like you and me, Brenda, we really make up 80% of the giving. You think about these corporations and you hear these large gifts. Oh, John, Mayor gave $18 million to this organization. That's one person. But if you think of every day and every Sunday, you and I give every single week.
Yeah.
And John gave his one big gift, and he's getting a huge tax break on that gift. Whereas you and I are thinking about, how can we help our church, our local organization, our local business? How can we do this every single day and make a difference? And, foundations and family foundations, families are starting to come together more. They're really starting to get together and say, how can we help? How can we help our neighborhoods? How can we help people in our community? And what are some of the things that we really need to do to make a difference? And we haven't really seen a change, in arts and culture, because people don't deem that as necessary as maybe health organizations or sometimes schools. But if you think about the time that we're in right now, you're going to see that shift. You're going to see people looking for outlets, and how do we sustain those outlets? And I want to really give a shout out to Alyssa Nova. She's going to kill me for not saying her name pronounced.
Let me see if she's on right now. I don't know. I don't see Alyssa. I don't see Alyssa.
Alyssa right now is doing a webinar herself, but Alyssa is the president and CEO of Living Arts. And Alyssa, when COVID hit and all the doors closed and none of the arts organizations could activate and could bring in youth and could bring in students, Alyssa set out, and Alyssa said, we're going to raise this money to help each other. Her goal was $20,000. Alyssa announced yesterday she hit $50,000 in her time.
Wow. Congratulations.
And that was from asking people. Yes, congratulations, Alyssa. That's asking you and me to give $25.
Yeah.
$25. Mm-hmm. Now, I spent $25 today at Target.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Think about the impact of my $25 towards that 50K goal for Alyssa and people in arts organizations versus the $25 that I spent at Target.
Yeah, it's easy. It's money you don't miss, and it's money, versus money that can make a difference and an impact. Yeah.
And I can't stress enough, when we're thinking of giving, we're in a time where we are contracting, but I assure you that people are thinking differently and they are reacting. So while we're thinking the government is contracting and people are getting laid off, people are giving more. People are still
Really?
giving because
Yeah.
they know that a lot of organizations depend upon their gifts. And now their gift may not be the normal, $5,000, $10,000, but they're giving at a level that is comfortable for them because they
Right.
know that there's sustainability in their gift.
Yeah. There's a
I
continued
have
need
to keep
for it.
giving.
And
There's a
especially, I think in these
continued
times
need.
too, where we're worried about, who is supporting these initiatives. Oh, let's not forget about,
Right.
my cause,
Right.
my local organization too. So it's really important.
Right. And I think about one of the things that a lot of organizations and a lot of people who have businesses don't discount gift cards. Don't discount, the smaller gifts where if you said, for example, Mavita, I can't give you $100 today, but I could do $20 a month for the next 5 months. That helps because that helps our bottom line over time. Getting that big gift at one time, yay, but we might have to spend it all. But if I know there's continuation of you giving and then potentially giving me more, because you might not give me 100 today, but you might give me 20 over 6 months, or you might give me 20 over a year, I've gotten more gifts from you at a smaller amount and a more palatable amount for you. So you have to think about humanly what you can do and not beat yourself up, because in times like this, we're all trying to do the very best that we can, and you have to give people a break. One of the things as an organization, I highly stress, please don't hound your donors or hound the people who give to you, but let them know that you have a need. Make it clear, compel them to give, compel them into the mission, compel them to support. But you can't always anticipate that your appeal is the only appeal that they're getting.
Right. Yeah.
Sweetheart, come here and say hi, and then you have to go back upstairs.
We keep hearing her, and I know, like, is she going to get nervous when we get her in front of the camera?
No, but please don't judge me, guys. Say hi. Say hello.
Hey.
Hi, how are you, sweetie? You're like a celebrity right now. You're all over the internet right now.
Your friends are calling you?
Yeah, Freddie.
Freddie. Okay, Freddie's calling her. So go upstairs. Oh, she's Scooby Doo right now. Daphne, Velma, Scooby Doo, Shaggy. You're Velma, and she's Velma. So Freddie's calling her.
Good. Do you remember those days of playing make believe? It's like it just seems forever ago, but you can feel it.
Shaggy and Scooby. Okay, be careful. All right. Sorry, guys. So this is what you get. So let me just be very authentic and transparent.
Right.
This is what you get when you get Vita. You get the whole team.
You do. These are your coworkers. I've heard somebody say, call your family members your coworkers. My coworker needs a cookie. I'll be right back. Hold on here.
Yes, and my coworker tends to keep us off track. So the next slide.
Okay. Let's keep this going here. Here we go. Here we go.
So one of the things that, for me, when I think about why I give to organizations, first of all, I'm, attracted to the mission. So you think about what you're giving, why you're giving. And then secondly, you always kind of think about, what difference am I going to make with my gift? So for me personally, when I write a check, or when I give to my local house, church, I say, okay, what is this going for? What are we trying to do? What is our mission? Am I tied into it? Do I believe in what we're going to do? Do I believe that we're going to make an impact?
Yeah.
What type of impact am I trying to make? Who do I want, to know that I'm giving a gift? Who is it? Is it women and children in our ministry? Is it the young people trying to do something? At Haven, am I trying to make sure that the garden gets weeded? Am I trying to make sure that, the kids have a safe place to play? Am I trying to make sure that they have a playground that's safe? What is it that I'm trying to do? Do they have back to school supplies? And, that's what we need to think about when we're giving and when we're being more strategic in our philanthropy. At this time, especially now, we have to think strategically because a lot of people don't have the beauty of working from home.
Mhm.
A lot of people don't have the beauty of getting a full paycheck. So some people are, having to sign up for unemployment, but that still gives them the opportunity to bless people. Even if they can't physically touch them, they still have the opportunity to do something that is going to make a difference for them. Amaya, take it down. So you still have an opportunity to bless people. And one of the things that, used to motivate people was the tax breaks, right?
Mm-hmm.
Say, oh, I give because I know I'm going to, get a huge tax break in the end. And that was taken away last year. So when you filed this year, there was no tax incentive.
Right.
Well, one of the things that this new law that they have, the CARES Act, is they've added an element back in. So if you continue to support organizations that are 501c3 or in those categories, you can now write some of that off again. So, now they're encouraging people to get back into giving to local entities because nonprofits are really taking a hit. Small businesses are really taking a hit. And how do you help people? So that's why, I suggest buy some gift cards to your local restaurant. You're talking for you, Brenda, say, okay, right now I can't do a training, but I would give you X amount, as you and Renee spoke about yesterday. I could do X, Y, and Z if you sign up today.
Right. You're giving back a little. I mean, you give what you can, and I think we're in different times right now too. And, some organizations are pulling back and you may not have the paycheck that can support it, but what can I do? Well, I know they're saying like right now, like make masks for people or donate hand sanitizer. I'm like, I'm not a sewer myself. I can't make a mask. I can't donate supplies, but what are the gifts and talents that I do have that I'm able to give? Well, I can donate monetarily to some extent. I'm not rich like a Bill Gates, but I can give some money, and then I can give of my time. So, I mean, if we can, just like your neighbor's helping to blow the leaves, he can do that because he's got a leaf blower. So we all have talents that we can give.
And one of the things too for our business people and our smaller business people, please don't discount the value of no, we're not doing that. Please don't discount the value of your talents for some of the nonprofits because we're having to contract. So think about the fact that, maybe we had this full marketing team and we were paying them, right? And right now we've had to contract. And maybe you say, hey, I'll read some of your press releases.
Yeah.
That saves us. You know what I'm saying? So there are ways to really barter and trade off on some of those things that is monetarily invaluable. We were on a conference call today at work. I am working. We were on a conference call today, and we talked about some of those trade-offs. Like we have volunteers who are clamoring.
Yeah.
They used to come into the building to volunteer, and they're like, well, what can we do now? Well, our need might be milk. So can 5 people on their next shopping trip buy us 2 gallons of milk?
Oh, that's nice. Yeah. And it's something so small, like that you're not gonna feel that pinch, but it's gonna help out. And if everybody does 2 gallons, it helps out. So on that note, Mavita, I mean, if there's people that are watching that are familiar with Haven and they're in your area, are there specific needs that people can help your organization with Haven right now?
Well, our biggest thing, of course, having the full shelter. We're looking for all the sanitizing products, disinfectant, things like that. If someone can get a hold of masks and gloves, we'll take those because we are servicing direct service. So we are in the space of touching people every single day.
Yeah.
And then for us, food. So we think about things like dry cereal, milk, powder egg, things that we can stretch, things that will go far. Rice, we're making sure we have those things as a staple. All of our stuff is on our website. We update that list of needs every single day.
Okay.
Anybody out there is actually listening. I got a beautiful package yesterday from somebody, and I'm sure it's for Haven, but it's things that we don't think of, like deodorant and toothpaste and, things that we take for granted,
Yeah.
they can't go out and get.
Yeah, personal care items, things that are, they're not luxuries, they're necessities, but when you're in a challenging situation, they quickly become a luxury and things that you don't realize how much you can appreciate.
And you think about those things like that. So we keep a rolling list. We also have a list on Amazon. So we do, post our list on Amazon of the things that we need. And then we also, so we're not just takers, we're also givers. So sometimes there are other organizations locally who might say, hey, do you have an extra supply of this, or do you have this? So we are sharing with our partners.
That's great.
Because we get it. We might have overabundance, and even during the holidays, we get overabundance of items, and we'll share them with local other local entities who are serving the public and the homeless. That's philanthropy. That's the love of mankind.
Yeah.
So it's kind of that. And I don't want to just rattle off a list, but you can always call our direct number at 248-322-248 1284. I always say it wrong. 248-322-1284, and they will direct you on what the needs are at that moment, and then also how to give. But of course, you can do Amazon. We take Kroger gift cards, like those things. We can go out and get those supplies.
Yeah. Okay.
But right now, it's hard to find anything other than food.
Yeah. Okay, good. Well, thanks for sharing that. Was there a little bit more information you wanted to go through in the slide deck here too?
No, you can go ahead.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna move on here. Here we go. I'm trying to kind of navigate and keep us going here too. All right, there we go.
Yeah. So and you can share these slides. It's just basic information. Okay. So when we think about humanity, and this is kind of small, so I'm gonna pull mine up, Brenda.
Mama, somebody forgot to turn it off.
Okay, thank you, baby. So, yeah, this is fun, guys. See, these are my coworkers at their best.
This is the environment. And I really do believe, Mavita, when you come to the Informed Tour Group, it's one of the networking groups I'm a part of, we have an apology-free zone.
Right.
We all have lives and jobs and families. And I'm like, if you're running late because you got a sick kid that you got to take care of, don't apologize. If you need to leave early because you got a meeting, don't apologize. Mavita, we're working in our homes right now because of the environment that we're in. We're doing the best we can. So if Maya wants to come and sit on your lap and be your co-host and help you shuffle papers, I am more than fine. You know what I mean? Like this is a community we're all in, and no apologies necessary.
Yeah.
And I was watching a newscaster the other day, and he was like on his deck doing something, and then his dog walked in the background. His little toddler came over, and I'm like, you know what? We're people. We're human beings. You're talking about humanity here, so.
Right. And this is definitely the side of humanity. And one of the things that, a lot of times in the corporate world, and this, we typically get stuck in this box, and you got to show up this way, and you got to be this way. And everybody doesn't show up in the same way.
Yeah.
And as you guys were talking yesterday, you and Renee, I was like, I don't know how to be anything but me.
Yeah.
I don't know how to show up any other way. I can be a lot more professional when needed, but I am, if we have a connection, I'm going to show you who I am.
Yeah.
And that's the person either you're going to like or you're going to not like so much. And the choice is yours.
Yeah.
Because I am always going to show up as me. And that's the beauty of humanity, because you will find people who will allow you to be you.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And in that, when you're giving to people, you will find organizations that allow you to give at the level and will appreciate your $5 gift just like they would appreciate a $5 million gift.
Mm-hmm.
You will have people who will connect with you and create a bond with you that, they just want to know about they heard that you had a cat and your cat got sick, and they'll send you a note and say, hey, I heard your cat was sick. Is there anything we can do? We just want to connect with you.
Yeah.
You have to show people your empathetic side, but you also have to show them love.
Mm-hmm.
You have to show people that you really care about them on an intimate level, on a personal level, and it isn't about the money. Yes, the money and the mission go together, but I am about building the bond first. and then talking about what we can do together. When I meet with people, when I talk to people, I don't go in, with my fund development name tag on and say, hey, I'm here to collect,
Here's
I'm here
pen for your checkbook. Here we go. Let's go here. Right?
No. Let's just talk about the mission. I kind of, and it may be to my detriment sometimes, but I try to find that connection. Why are you giving? What's in it for you? What are you going to get out of it? What are some of the things that are meaningful to you? And how does that connect to Haven's mission? Or how does that connect to any other organization's mission? And how do we build that bridge? And sometimes, people are in it just for their name on the wall, and that's great. And I will, honor you for doing that. But then on the flip side of that, there are people who say, it happened to my mom, or, like you, Brenda, with your love for the cancer, for the American Cancer Society. You have a passion for that because it's connected to you. And that's how people can start entering into the space of philanthropy by finding the thing that connects with them. And their humanity will come out from that. Their love for that thing will be a passion. I have friends who exercise and run and, and walks flights of stairs. And it's because there was something in their life that touched them humanly. And now they want to spread it, and they want us on board for that, for that great mission. So, we have to we are integrated as a human. There's intersectionality in all of us. We're moms, we're daughters, we're employees, we're, chief, what is your title? Chief
Engagement Officer. I was going to say Chief Bottle Washer.
Chief Engagement Officer.
There, but I made up a job title for myself, And we're also snowman makers, morale boosters, whatever we need to be, right?
So in that intersectionality, there are different pieces of you that come in. You're a Girl Scout mom. So you're excited about the Girl Scouts. So there are a lot of things that we get passionate about, and our passion comes out, and it comes out from our heart.
Yeah.
You can tell when somebody's just trying to sell you, or somebody's deeply invested in you. You know the difference, and that's where your human side comes out, and that's where your humanity just shines. And that's why people are drawn to us. That's why we get people, whoever's listening, that's why people are drawn to you, because of the passion that's in you, and it comes out through your heart.
This is a really important message. I think for people probably as they're coming up through their career, and if they're in a fund development or fundraising, or some type of role supporting a nonprofit, because this is probably something you learn as you're working your way. I mean, when you first get into the position, it's a fundraising role, but then when you realize really it's not about fundraising, it's about that connection that you're making with your donors and your supporters to the cause, and how it's a very mission driven environment. And then I think then your focus shifts, and you're at a higher level. It's much deeper than that.
And I, although I'm part of the Association for Fundraising Professionals, I always say I'm a friend raiser.
Yeah.
Because I'd rather have a friend. And in that, my friend will tell another friend about a mission or about something that we're doing. And they help me grow.
Yeah.
Versus, I'm here for this check. I don't want to talk to you about anything else. I just want to know what you can do for me. But if we're friends, you can offer me advice. You can introduce me to people. And I've seen in my personal career that be the better way to go than walking in there with my name tag saying, Director of Development. Don't put that on my name tag. Just say, hey, Mavita's coming. And I don't want people to see me and go the other way, because all I'm talking about is the dollars.
Right.
I want people to really embrace me, because they know, if there's something I can do to help them, I will. It's not just about what I'm going to get. It's about what we collectively can do.
Yeah. It's a two-way relationship. Yeah. Very important.
A two-way relationship. Yeah. So I have found, and I know that a lot of people who do give, think about your holiday seasons, your Mother's Day, people who celebrate Christmas, Hanukkah, Ramadan. When you give a gift, when you give to someone else, you get joy. Even shopping for gifts, I have found shopping for other people for their birthdays and things like that. I'm like, oh, this would be so nice. And you get joy in it. Now, mind you, if I go to Target, I spend way too much money because, I one for them, two for me. But it's kind of one of those things where we get joy, and there is research behind the fact that we get joy from giving to other people.
Yeah.
Our gifts and the things that we give to other people, and we know that it's adding value, it kind of makes us high. Like we walk out like, yeah, Brenda loved those flowers I gave her last week, or it has a purpose. And if we have looked at ways that we can help other people, and then we accomplish that thing, like I'm sure when Alyssa hit 20K, she was overjoyed. When she hit 50 and knew that she could help more of her arts related friends, people in that sector, I'm sure her giving those gifts are gonna make her happy. It's gonna make the other people happy. And then especially now during these trying times, to know that people can keep their lights on.
Yeah.
To know that people can feed their families. To know that people have money for gas, to get their prescriptions. You become happy that you're able to help somebody.
Yeah.
I'm sure my neighbor, although I'm sure he loves to blow leaves because he does it all the time, but I think he was like, well, let me do something because I know this isn't her thing. And I'm sure he, and I'll ask him, hey, not so much did you get happy for blowing my leaves, but one of the ways that you show your neighbors you care is that your way of showing people you care.
Right.
Yes. He has an elder, he's a little elderly, and I don't want to say elderly and that he can't get around or do anything, but maybe next time I'll just stop by his house and say, hey, I'm running a Kroger. Do you need anything?
Yeah.
That'll make me happy. It's the small things in humanity that make the biggest difference for people, because we tend to get caught in our routine during day to day, but I am not thankful for COVID, but I'm thankful for this time during COVID to really think about what matters. You know what I'm saying?
Have you noticed, like in your neighborhood, Mavita? I mean, there are people like we will say hi to on Halloween when we go door to door trick or treating, or we're walking on go around on our bikes or walking around, and we say hi. And I just feel like people generally are so much happier and more pleasant to each other. I mean, we see everybody we walk by, and granted, we're on one side of the sidewalk, and as soon as we see somebody, they cut over to the other side. But we're like, "Hi, how you doing?" I mean, there's, I mean, we can't go anywhere, so it's kind of like, I feel like, I was driving around with my son the other day, and I feel like it's Christmas Day, and all the businesses are closed, but the weather's nice, and we're outside. There's nothing we can do other than walk around our block and go out in our backyard. So we're like talking over the fence and keeping our distance, but it really is connecting us in a different way, than we ever had a chance to do.
Yeah. When I was growing up, I grew up in a small town, Inkster. So hi, all of everybody in Inkster. But one of the things is we had a front porch.
Yeah.
And we sat on our front porch and we saw the cars going by and we waved to people, we talked, and people would stop, and and it was that kind of thing where you knew your neighbors. And then when I moved, I live in Troy now, and I moved, and everybody has a deck.
Okay. Out and back.
Out back.
Yeah.
So you don't really get to see your neighbors because you have these tall fences and you have a deck. And you don't really connect. But now more people are out front, and more people are on their front porches, and more people's kids want to ride their bikes, and you can't do that in the backyard, so it is driving people to connect with one another more intentionally. And, like I said, my neighbor needed something to do, so he's walking down blowing leaves. Yay, but it's now a time for us to really think about others. And with so many people being infected by COVID, you think about what that means for tomorrow.
Right.
And I have a niece and a nephew who both have had. My nephew had it, and he's well, he's better. Wow. And my niece is currently in the hospital.
Wow.
And you think, and they have children, and their husband and wife, and he had it, then she got it.
Okay.
And you think about what does that look like tomorrow, and all that other stuff just goes away.
Yeah.
You know, our whole intention and prayer is for her to get well. And now, what do you think Christmas is going to look like?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So now we're going to get back together because we had all star distancing. Everybody's doing Christmas at home. But now everybody's going to want to be together.
Yeah.
You know, everybody's going to want to reconnect. And one of the things I heard from my pastor, he said, this is our reset.
Yeah.
We had gotten so caught up in our own lives and our own digital and our own technology and our own things and us. And now we're thinking we.
Yeah.
How do we stop this? How do we keep each other safe? What do we do? And he's like, it is our reset, and it is time for us to really start thinking about how to help one another.
Yeah, it's a really good point too. And who could have ever imagined that the time we're in right now could? I mean, it's so in so many ways such a horrible, tragic time, and in other ways, it's uniting people and bringing communities and families together in different. I mean, I've talked more to my extended family over the past couple weeks than I do throughout the rest of the year because we're all like, "Are you okay? Are you okay? Do you need anything?" I've got a niece in Florida who just had a baby. You know, I've got my friends across. I mean, we're all like talking, and we're doing like Zoom. We do like a Zoom family dinner now once a week with different members of the family, and we don't usually. I mean. Growing up, we would always go over to grandma's house on Sunday for dinner, and we don't do that anymore, you know? So we're doing it.
Everybody has dispersed, and now everybody's together. Yeah. And, you know, even with my daughters, I mean, we're three adults in the same house, and we would text each other like, hey, we go to the kitchen. I mean, like, we're not living in a mansion, but now it's like, hey, you going to the kitchen? I'll meet you there, you know? So we are getting more connected to one another, and we are learning the value of family.
Yeah.
And not that we have forgotten it, but we had kind of gotten into our own selves, you know, and now we have an opportunity really to start learning one another again and really appreciating each other for our value. And I think we had gotten so computer and technology and smartphone driven.
Yeah.
You know, we just kind of forgot. Even now, I cut my TV off. I used to keep the TV on and running. And I'm like, I really don't want to hear any more news that I already know. Yeah. What can I learn? And who can I help? And what other things can I do? And how can I help move missions forward? You know, because that's what's in my heart. That's really what's in my heart.
Yeah.
You know.
Awesome. Well, this has been really a good discussion, Mavita. We're reaching the top of the hour now here. So I want to just give just a second and take a look and see if there's any additional comments that have come in. Cynthia Adair joined us, and I asked the question, you know, who do you help and why? She said neighbors, family members, elderly women, low-income people, and small businesses, you know, all important to her. Catherine Diggerho joined us as well. Hi, ladies. Sarah Harfield, who's a fellow Troy Chamber member. Nice to see you. Cynthia's from Camden, Arkansas, so we're crossing the border. Yeah. Fatu joining us, I think from, if I'm not mistaken, from Paris. I remember Fatu being on the other day. And we have Gary joining us from Joy Southfield CDC. So yeah, so we're joining. We got a lot of people joining us from different places from around. So I think I want to get you going, Mavita, because I know you probably got to get dinner going in a little while there. And Maya's probably going, are you done? Are you done?
Yeah, she's like coming up and down.
Looking around the corner, like, where's going on? And I told my family, I'm like, I'll be on the call for about an hour. I'll get like another 10 or 15 minutes, and then somebody will like start to open the door and be like, where'd you go? But I just want to kind of take a few moments here before we end our discussion. Are you open to accepting new invitations from folks on LinkedIn, Mavita?
Okay. Yes, of course.
I'm going to put up Mavita's LinkedIn URL right below here on the screen. If you guys want to connect with Mavita and learn more about Haven, I had the website up on the screen earlier, but I'll put it up on the webpage again if you're looking at learning more about that. And I really enjoyed this talk here, Mavita. I think, you know, just this whole topic of philanthropy and understanding I understand the difference now between charity and philanthropy. I mean, it was a good education kind of crash course for me. And I appreciate you sharing your thoughts, your passion, and you
Yeah,
sharing yourself with us.
thank you. And I just want to thank everybody for tuning in and giving me a space and opportunity. And I do want to put in a small plug. One of the things that we are trying to do at Haven is keep people connected.
Yeah.
So we are doing happy hours.
Oh.
So we want you to dial in. We'll have the information up on the website this Friday for next Friday, and we want to do some things that make us happy.
Okay.
So we're looking at maybe a dance party, and we figured that out. And we're looking for some 30-minute meals. So we would put up the recipe. You get all the ingredients. It should be something from your pantry, and then you do a cooking segment via Zoom. So we are working on making people happy, and we are going to start happy hours April 15th.
Oh, that's
I think
good.
Yeah, or 17th, whatever next Friday is.
Right, whatever
so
that is. Yeah.
Whatever day that is. What did you call it? Tuesday, yesterday?
Tuesday. People are like, what day? Can I just tell you a funny story too? My husband, I don't think he's listening right now. So he was like, his mom lives by herself, and she's about a mile from us. So he goes over there every couple of days and he gets her groceries and whatever else. And she doesn't have a car, she doesn't drive. So sometimes she's like, oh, I really want something for dinner. And yesterday she's like, she wants to get chicken from that one chicken place, and he's describing it. This is yesterday, he's telling me this. And he's like, but unless you can't eat tomorrow because no meat. And I go, what are you talking about? Today's Tuesday. Like, he thought it was Thursday yesterday. We totally missed the whole week. And I'm like, it's Tuesday, it's not Thursday. And I was rolling on the floor laughing. And he was like, stop making fun of me. We have lost track. I feel like we've been on Sunday for like 12 weeks right now. I don't know.
I wake up and I'm like, because I'm only working 2 days in office because the shelter doesn't close.
Yeah.
And I'll wake up and I'll go, what day is this?
Yeah. No, it's jarring.
Is it Saturday? What day is it?
And I like the people, like, there's a couple of my friends that every day on Facebook, the first thing they post in the morning is, today is Tuesday. Today is Wednesday. Like, seriously, how many times I'm like, what day is it? It's like disorienting. Is it Saturday? Can we relax? No, it's still a work day. We gotta get back.
Yes.
But,
so I have made it my mission, and I even have told my boss, I love her, Amy, when you see this, I love you. I told her, I said, I am a person who dresses up and comes to work, so working from home is very weird for me.
Yeah.
So I said, so when you see me in ball gowns in the office, it's because I must wear them.
Right. No, because you've reached that point where
these outfits. Yes.
Yeah.
I was like, I have to dress up and I have to come to work. So
yeah,
I'm gonna be dressed up.
No, that's why I got the headband, guys. I was like, I'm good. I'm feeling a funk. Mavita's gonna be like this high energy, co-host today. I'm like, I was texting you before because I was like running late. I was picking up groceries, and I'm like, I might be late. She's like, I'm getting all glammed up. I'm like, oh, she's gonna be glam on the call. I'm like, I gotta bring it now. Oh, I got her headband. That'll do it.
I had my daughter. I was like, we gotta do hair and makeup. She was like, calm down.
And the good thing about these live videos, and too, is like you catch people that are watching it live, but then people will watch the playback of this, and by the end of the day, you might have 700 views of this video, and tomorrow I'll put it on YouTube, and then we'll reach new audiences, and someday I'm going to make a nice podcast of this, and we'll start merchandising it around. So you'll get some additional traction. It's not just today, April 8th, it's like wherever this goes from here, we want to look our best on camera. We want to represent our organization as well. So that's all good. So I want to one of my key takeaways that I want to remind people, where my finger's at in here, keep giving. I mean, this was a really important takeaway, especially in times like these, because organizations, the need doesn't go away. It's not, and your facility is still open and it's a business, it's running. There's still people that need your services. So as much as you guys can, support the organizations that are passionate to you. That's one point that I'm going to remember from this conversation. All right, Mavita.
Small amounts. Don't think you have to move the mountain because you think all of those small amounts add up. Just keep giving. Yeah.
No, that's awesome. Well, thank you so much, Mavita. It was such a pleasure speaking with you today. And I look forward to seeing you in person and giving you a great big hug when we can.
I know. I miss you. Yes. Thank you. Thank you guys for having me.
All right. Take care, everybody. Have a great day and stay safe out there.
All right.